Okay, here's the thing, guys. Don't tamper with fire alarms in public buildings. You can't do that. You just can't. It is not good, and you'll get in serious trouble, and the consequences are very severe. If you tamper with fire alarms in public, you're going to get fined or even arrested, which is not what you want. So, you don't ever tamper with fire alarms in public. If you tamper with a fire alarm at school as a kid, then you're going to get expelled from school. Don't ever do that. What do I mean by tampering with fire alarms is taking the screws off the alarm and screwing it back in, taking the alarm off the wall, taking the strobe out of the alarm, disabling the strobe and the sound, flipping the dip switches on the alarm, cutting the wires to the alarm, painting the fire alarm, pulling a pull station, when there's no fire, opening a pull station, you don't ever do any of that in public. If you want to do that with your own alarm, that is totally fine, but if you're doing that with an alarm in public, that is not okay. Things you should never do in public with fire alarms. You don't pull them, you don't vandalize them, you don't take them off the wall, you don't do any of that. Only when there's a real fire is when you pull them. So, leave the alarm on the wall. Don't ever take the alarm off the wall. Leave the alarm alone. Don't ever mess with it. These things are meant to save people's lives, so this is why you should never mess around with them. So, when you're in a public building, you don't ever take the alarm off the wall. You don't ever paint the alarm. You don't ever pull it unless there is a real fire. These are things you should never ever do with fire alarms in public. You don't take the alarm off the wall. You don't paint the alarm. You do not pull it unless there's an emergency. You don't do any of that. Leave the alarm the way it is. I mean, if you tamper with fire alarms in public, you're going to get arrested. So don't ever tamper with fire alarms in public. I mean, if you're a kid in school and you tamper with fire alarms at school, you're going to get suspended from school or even expelled. I mean, if my parents get a call from my teachers saying that I tampered with the fire alarm in any way at school, then I'm going to lose a lot of privileges. But I'm in complete control whether or not that happens. I'm not going to mess around with the alarm. I mean, I know better not to mess around with the alarm. I mean, I can mess around with my own alarm all I want, but if I'm doing it with an alarm at school or out in public, then I'm gonna get in big trouble or even arrested. This is my own alarm. I could do whatever I want to it, but don't ever do anything to an alarm in public. And only pull them if there's a real emergency. And never ever tamper with fire alarm equipment in any way in public. This is my own alarm. I could do whatever I want to this alarm, but if it's an alarm in public, you don't ever do anything that I'm doing. Leave the alarm the way it is. Don't ever mess with an alarm in public. Bye.